All right. It's been a little over 6 months since the boys were let go from WWE. Can we get a half-year check-in on how their lives have changed, how things have been and going since then? Hashtag Ask Major Pod.
I read this. I saw this, and I didn't pick it because I didn't want to sound too positive. Things have been great.
I know.
I'm living the dream. I'm loving life. When I got released, I was smiling. I was so happy, so relieved.
I was not at that point.
Okay, but I think you've come to your senses and realized.
No, because it was all shock and whatever. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that.
No, we were in totally different situations. You have a family. 1, you had a baby on the way. 2, you just signed this new contract. 3, I have no family and I didn't resign.
Yeah.
So we were in totally different situations.
I guess that is true. A different situation. So I was in complete shock. Quickly got over it because I wasn't gonna. Just like anything in life, I wasn't gonna sit and dwell and cry about things that are out of my control or whatever, things I can't change. But especially in the past couple of weeks, and I said this at Live 6, it was like the most unbelievable blessing in disguise. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
We would have lost all this, and this is.
Well, I would have quit. So
whatever. I don't know what.
Right.
Something bad something drastic and dramatic and serious would have went down. You know what I mean?
Like Z Trolling Island story was it taken from me? No, but a lot of weird stuff that I'll talk about in a book one day. But I blame myself for that because I let it happen, and I knew I would never let it happen with this.
Too mature.
No way.
Let it happen. And it's like, yes, WWE is amazing, and it's given us a lot of things.
Of course,
sometimes it just becomes a job.
Right, like my adult life was working for WWE, living my dream job. The house I have, all the figures I have, is because of WWE. And the reason this podcast is successful is because we were WWE superstars. So, of course, thank you, WWE. I'm so grateful for my time there. But I'm so glad that we were gone. And people ask me all the time, like, what's your goal? Are you ever going to go back to WWE? Listen, never say never. But my goal right now is not, oh, my God, what can I do to get back to WWE? Like, no way. I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah, not even thinking about it.
Not even thinking about it.
But, yeah, it's just one of those things that, like, through this podcast, yeah, we could go to WWE. We could have a match that was awesome and have the best time ever. Then we go back and we podcast, and it's like, wow, life is great. On the flip side, you could have to do something stupid, run around for the 24/7 title and some meaningless segment, have a shitty match or main event, whatever. And then we always have the podcast as like our outlet. You know what I mean? That was always like our baby and like the thing that kind of connected us to like why we fell in love with this business and all this stuff in the first place.
Or
if they were to have taken that from us when it was like our only outlet, and
creatively too. Like, listen, like we can't. Nobody, we don't write the shows, right? People are like, oh, why don't you just turn heel and beat up Roman? Well, I would love. That's how it works,
Great.
But I can write this podcast. I could write the live shows. I can create the merch. It was a creative outlet, and it was fun. And if that was to be taken away, oh man,
it's like I don't even want to think about it. It's scary.
Yeah.
I use this analogy a lot when I talk to like my students, or I just did a seminar and I said this, like, if you're the best goddamn hitter in the Mets lineup, you're playing every day. You're in the lineup. You're always going at it. Wrestling's not like that. You could be the best. You could be talented as hell, and if someone just doesn't like you or doesn't see it, you're riding the bench. Or that's just like we've accepted that. Like that's how the business works. That's fine.
You can't be a champ and win every match. Just impossible.
Well, that too, yeah.
And guys, this is insane that I'm comparing this, but we booked the FWF. Some guys you don't use all the time. It's just how it is, and that's just
Road Dogg.
That's just life. Well, now I'm gonna make Road Dogg a star. But I have been loving my time away from WWE, and it's been like such a weird time. Like 2020 has sucked for so many people, and like when I really think about it, I'm like, I guess on paper it has sucked for me. I lost my dream job. My wedding had to get canceled, but I think in my opinion, this is gonna be a positive like spin on things. It's all about the mindset, because when people they talk about 2020 like it's been so bad, it's like I think it's been great. But then I'm like, oh my God, I did lose my job. I did have to cancel my wedding, but it's all your mindset. I've been using all this downtime to build this brand or just have fun or take, for 15 years I was on the road. Now I can like spend weekends at home. I can do whatever I want to do. So it's all about making, turning a negative into a positive, in my opinion.
I'm just saying, all I want to say is long story long here, but
it's been long.
It's wild that like how this all turned out. Is all I'm saying. Because it you would think something that that people look at like as a travesty was like what saved this whole Major Wrestling Figure podcast.
Right, and
we would have either lost it, had to quit anyway,
Yeah.
or we'd be sitting here talking about wrecking mobiles, and that's it.
oh my God, no pins, no merch, no Blue Chew, no balls, no Rory Fox's asshole,
Yeah.
No me.
no Mark.
No Mark.
You guys would have been. You guys were like the poster child.
Dustin Wallace would have been the editor.
You guys would have been the poster child of like that movement of taking things away because
That
you
first
were like,
conversation, yeah.
yeah. But
Rough.
but I will also add that the change sort of took the handcuffs off this podcast.
It's way more fun.
Okay, I will
And
say
We
this.
used to like tiptoe around stuff, and now
Here's
I'm
the
like,
thing. Wait, let me-
say whatever.
I wanna clarify.
truly- I'm not trying to be a weirdo here, but I truly speak from my heart. Like if I want to say something, I just
Sure.
say it. And there's no filter.
I said this today, Toy Vomit. It's not like the handcuffs were on before, but we were very careful and cautious. Partially because of what happened with Z trolling on story, but for me personally, but like I knew we can't put our likeness on things. We're Matt and Brian, not Zach and Kurt. At Live 6, we came out. We were us. We came out to our entrance music. We didn't come out to some weird like little jingle. It was us, and we can do whatever we want. We can say whatever we want.
Bro, I used to be terrified if someone mentioned Chris Benoit on the show, just because I didn't want to get in trouble at work.
Do you know that I have?
It's
I
okay
have multiple.
to say, okay, I had this Chris Benoit figure in my big fight. Now. Like, everyone's okay with it.
I have a few Chris
big
Benoit figures in my Ruthless Wrestling collection, and I have one on display in my Titantron Toy Biz and San Francisco Toy Maker collection. I do not condone what he did,
Of course,
but
not.
I have his figures,
But, of
and I can
course
say
not,
his
but, like,
name.
no one's controlling my life now, where I would be reprimanded for the mere mentioning of his name.
Right.
Whereas it wasn't like that before.
What about AEW? We could talk about the figures.
Yeah, that part's good.
You think
too.
Patel?
We used to have Mark was basically the correspondent.
Right, Mark. Mark at Toy Fair.
We dropped you off like it was summer camp.
Mark had to go at Toy Fair and talk to AEW about the figures. We can talk about AEW. We can talk about Ring of Honor. We talk about WWE. We talk about whatever.
It's awesome.
It's the best.
I think
And my current employer, Impact, doesn't care about it. Like they're more.
they
Impact,
advertise it.
Impact is going to put a lower third in this week about the toy drive during my match.
Impact and
if
AEW
Scott's
already
listening,
have
I would love to interview
advertised the
Scott on the
podcast
pod.
more.
He got screwed out of a Toy Biz.
He would love to hear you say that.
Scott, if you're listening,
He's not, but I'll tell him.
you got screwed out of a Toy Biz. I mean,
His best friend Drum Boy will stooge this to him, and then he'll know.
they made everyone in Team Canada.
Except what's his name? Who got stabbed?
The guy with the scar.
Johnny Divine. Yeah. Johnny Divine.
But guys, I've been loving this, and like the support you guys showed us in the beginning when we basically had like the garage sale of all our like merch. It's
Man,
oh my god,
I'm
it's
not
great.
gonna lie. At first, I was like devastated
Right.
because, like you said, we're just in different situations. I was shocked. I just didn't think they would do something like that in this pandemic. It was like literally, if you look back at it, it was like barely a month into it. Like it's pretty crazy.
Everyone's stuck at home.
Yeah, I was stuck at home. I was like, is wrestling ever going to be wrestling again? It's just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Silver lining, folks.
And let's just say Mark has really, because we've had so much more free time that we've wanted to do so much more stuff for the pod. And Mark has really stepped it up too and been able to edit it and produce it and stuff like that. So, we were able to bring Mark on full time because we were able to do more full time where this wasn't necessarily a side project.
Yeah.
Where it was the project.
Two big things for the podcast. Me having more time when I left my job last December, and then you guys just a few months later, very similar things. So like we all sort of went full time on this podcast around the same time, which is the reason why we have so much stuff and are doing so many cool
And then the
things.
fans went full time back,
Yeah.
So that's a great question. It kind of got off the rails a little
That got
bit.
way
but
off the rails. Thanks.
to answer your question,
Clean-
things have been great.
clean cock.
And things are only going to get better. And I hope you take some blue chew to make sure it's a nice